Alright, today let's take a look at another pod system. This one, a pretty new one. It is called the VLADDIN, and it is a very good one for you smokers out there, and also for you to recommend to your fellow friends or family members that still smoke. This one, again, the VLADDIN, it is going to be available in 1.8% nicotine ratio, but also in 5%. The kit and the available pods, obviously, this one is the 1.8% nicotine ratio one, or that's basically the pod included with this kit. 1.8% is equivalent to 18 milligrams. All of them are going to be nicotine salt based e-liquid pods, and 5% obviously going to be equivalent to 50 milligrams. But anyway, this is the VLADDIN, and here is the box where it comes in. Inside of the box, they are going to provide you with one VLADDIN device, one micro USB charging cable, as well as a quick guide, and one pre-filled pod. This one, the flavor they call to this one is Northern. I'm assuming this is their tobacco one. Obviously, it doesn't really taste like tobacco, or if it is tobacco flavor, it is a very, very light, very faint tobacco flavor. The pod already comes pre-filled, obviously, and then it comes with this removable cap that is going to expose the connectors on the bottom, the connectors and the little tiny hole, the air hole where the air is going to go in, but also the tiny hole that is going to activate the little membrane switch inside of this pod system. The pod system again is going to come pre-filled with the liquid that you choose. Again, this one being the Northern, it tastes like tobacco but is really, really faint. Obviously, we also have the mouthpiece built in. It is going to be a plastic mouthpiece, and right there is our top hole. The whole kit is pretty light, even completely assembled. It comes around 20 grams, and it measures 18.8 millimeters by 11.4 millimeters, but also being 112.5 millimeters tall. Now, as far as the device slash battery is going to be pretty simple. We have VLADDIN engraved on this side, and we also have a little LED light. It is going to be a white LED light that turns on or comes on when you are puffing, because this device is going to automatically activate. It has a membrane switch inside and is going to detect when you are puffing, and it is then going to activate and fire the coil. On the other side is pretty clean, pretty nice and clean. The whole device is constructed out of probably some sort of aluminum. It is a very, very light device, as you've seen. On the bottom then you can find the micro USB charging port. This light is going to come on either when you are puffing or when the device is charging. One thing that I do like about this pod is the fact that it is clear. Even though the mouthpiece is going to be black plastic, the majority of this pod is going to be transparent for you to see the liquid level. And even when you assemble the pod, you can still clearly see the liquid level on this side. So that's going to be a huge pro. On the bottom of the pod, you are going to find both positive and negative contacts. They are both going to attach inside of this device due to magnets. You can see that the magnets are actually fairly strong. It doesn't separate, it doesn't really come off that easy. And inside again we have two magnets, the magnets that are going to keep the pod secured in place, and then we also have the positive and negative spring-loaded contacts that are going to make contact with the contact plates on the bottom of the pod. At the same time, the magnets are going to keep it in place, but there's only one way that the pod actually goes in. Not really because of the magnets, but because of the whole design of the pod. Also, the shape of this pod system is pretty unique, and that's probably because it uses a rounded battery inside. So it was very well accomplished. It's not as flat as some of the other pod systems out there. Pretty nice and comfortable to be held and to be used. Now, the pod is meant to be replaceable when it is empty, but with this one it is actually possible to refill it, and I do recommend, if you do so, I do recommend that you use very thin liquids and also high in nicotine, otherwise the performance will be very poor. You can separate this base fairly easy, even though again I do not recommend, and this is probably not gonna be possible for too many times. Probably 2 or 3 times you are probably gonna be able to refill refill it 2 or 3 times, then eventually you are gonna end up cracking the plastic or having it leaking all over the place. But I'm actually taking it apart just to show you how this one works. Also, by the way, that's going to be another huge pro with these pod systems. Some of the pod systems out there, if not many, probably almost all of them, after a while they become juicy, and after a while they get liquid all over the place. I'm assuming this one doesn't, because it has this very nice silicone membrane, which is going to allow the air to go in, but that membrane is definitely helping the pod not to lose any pressure, and that definitely plays a huge part on the whole experience, since both of the devices I have been using for a long time now, neither one of them actually got wet inside. That's awesome. That's a huge pro, because that's a huge con I have in so many other pod systems, because they become all wet on the pods, all wet inside, all wet on the connectors. Sometimes you actually end up having to clean the connectors for the pod to actually fire again. So this is again going to be a huge pro, the way they did those pods. Definitely the best pod system out there so far as that feature. Opening the pod, you can see that we do have the filler material, which is going to be an organic cotton pad, very wide organic cotton pad, which is going to soak the liquid and then transfer the liquid into this ceramic coil. Yes, it is going to be a ceramic coil, and some of you probably still remember the issues I had with porous ceramic coils in the past, and with this one I haven't had any issues. I don't know if it is the way they baked the ceramic, I don't know if it is because it is a pretty low wattage device, but the truth is I never really had any problems, any respiratory problems using this pod system. So that's going to be another pro. Again, organic cotton transferring the liquid from the cartridge into the ceramic coil. Then there's also this plastic plate that you should replace. In the case you refill those pods, you should replace this plastic plate first, because that's actually what's going to compress the cotton in between that plastic plate and the ceramic cup or the ceramic coil. And now we are left with the empty pod. Now, as far as the coil goes, you can see again that it is going to be a ceramic coil. Then everything is surrounded with this very big and beefy silicone gasket, which I'm going to break because I really want to show you the coil. So again, here you can see the ceramic cup, which I'm gonna try to remove. I'm gonna try my best, but I'm probably gonna end up breaking it. There we go. Let's try again to remove the coil. And completely broken at this point, but now you can actually see the coil that is built inside and baked along with the ceramic wicking. I'm not fully aware of the material this coil is made of, either the resistance, but let's measure the resistance. This coil has approximately 1.45 ohms. All the pods again are going to be color coded. Again, this one the Northern, this one the VCT, this one the Ice, and this one the Mint. When you buy a new pack of pods, you actually receive this pamphlet that, even though they list here the nicotine chart maxing out at 18 milligrams, online they really only have the 1.8 and the 5% nicotine pods available. So that's just a reference chart, even though their ratios on their pods are completely different from those. Every single one of the pods is going to come with 1.5 ml of liquid inside of them. And obviously replacing the pods, very nice and easy. Very simple to replace your pods. So yeah, the VLADDIN pod system, and VLADDIN being the name of the pod system, but also the name of the company from what I understand, but VLADDIN being a company that was put together by AVE40. AVE40 is an online vendor, an online store, and they are the main company behind VLADDIN and this VLADDIN pod system, which in my opinion, it is probably one of the best, if not the best pod systems so far out there. From all the pod systems I've tried, there's a lot of good ones coming these days, but but this one, especially for everything that I talked about on the close-up, and especially because I never came across with a wet pod. There's no leaking with this pod system. I never had any issues, any problems at all with this pod system, and that definitely puts it up there along with my favorite pod systems in the market. Now granted, for a lot of you that are already used to rebuilding and to refillable atomizers, this one isn't going to be a cheap alternative. This is made for the smokers and for people transitioning, and even though possible to be refilled, I do not recommend to do so because you may end up having some leakage and damaging the whole device. Being a nicotine salt based pod system, there's no harshness. Some of the nicotine salt based e-liquids aren't that harsh. They're actually pretty smooth in the way you feel them, the way they hit you in the back of your throat, but you still get the nicotine delivery. Those are all very smooth, and the pods all very flavorful, even though the one that they call the Northern, it is a tobacco liquid, but not one of the best tobacco liquids out there. Now, as far as the other ones, the mint, the ice, and definitely the VCT, which is a vanilla pod, those are my favorites, and definitely my favorite being the VCT out of the four. Granted, again, this isn't going to be a cheap alternative, and the pod, the complete system, comes at around $36.90, again over at AVE40, and then they have two different types of pods available. They have a 2-pack and a 4-pack. The 2-pack runs for $15.90 and the 4-pack is selling for $26.90. So definitely not a cheap alternative in comparison to so many refillable vaporizers out there, but a very lightweight, very comfortable, very portable one, especially for the smokers. So if you are a smoker and you're watching this, definitely go pick one up because you do get the nicotine delivery, you do get an amazing experience, you don't have any issues, any problems with this system, and I really believe you as a smoker are gonna quit smoking, or you as a friend of a fellow smoker are gonna be able to turn a smoker into vaping. Now, attaching a micro USB cable to the device to charge it is not as fancy as some other pod systems out there that have magnetic connectors, but it gets the job done. They advertise the battery inside being a 350 milliamp hour capacity battery, and I did measure 352 milliamps hour recharging the battery, so fairly accurate rating. And they also advertise a charging speed between 0.2 amps and 0.4 amps. I was able to measure 0.37 amps charging this device, again through a USB connection. So not really that fast to charge, but the battery is pretty small capacity battery, so you are still looking at around 1 hour to get it fully charged. 1 hour and 15 minutes, somewhere around that time, it is enough to get it fully charged and ready to be vaped again. Ready to be vaped again, even though you still have vape while charging anyway. So all the links to where you can buy it are going to be linked in the description down below, even though please, AV40 or VLADDIN or wherever, I really want to see this kit being available in gas stations, for example. Make it happen, because that's the perfect place to have smokers actually picking up this device, especially a device such as this one, which is still manufactured in China, but possibly using premium US e-liquids inside of their pods. Now, I'm not gonna test that because we all know how these companies are usually true to their statements, but judging by the quality of liquids I tested coming from China and the quality of liquids made in the US and even in different places such as Europe and so on, I can really feel that the liquid used inside of those pods is a really good quality liquid. But please, VLADDIN or AVE40, state the brand of liquid that is inside of your pods. If it is a premium liquid inside of those pods, isn't only going to help you, but also going to help that company. That's going to help both, and I really want to see the name of the company in the package. The vanilla one, the VCT or wherever, really good. With all that said, I am Daniel, DJLSBVibes. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you liked it, hit like once. If you disliked it, hit dislike twice. Remember to subscribe to my website, djlsbvibes.com, for the next videos and next giveaways, because if you do subscribe to my website, you will definitely get notified every time I upload new videos and new giveaways. Even though it may also help if you hit that little bell right next to the subscribe button when you subscribe to my channel, or even if you are already subscribed to my channel on YouTube. If you want to support this channel and what I do, you can do so on Patreon. Links are in the description down below, and I will see you all in the next one.